Are you worried on how to operationalize governance or your API specifications built in your organization? Hi, I'm Sritej, technical consultant here at MuleSoft. In this Friends of Max video, I'll walk you through on how to operationalize governance using our brand new API governance features. As part of this video, first I'll do a quick recap of API governance features from our L1 video, and next we'll jump right into the demo. Let's start with a quick recap of our L1 video. To the API governance portal, you can operationalize API governance by being able to scan every API against a set of rules and inspect their conformance. Using our new dashboard, you can view if all of your API specifications are as per the organization standards. You will have the ability to enforce the rules by grouping the APIs that are published into the exchange. These new portals also have the ability to notify the API owners if the specifications are not conformant to the team standards, thereby operationalizing the governance to its fullest. With API governance, developers can also validate if their API specs are meeting the standards even before publishing the APIs into the exchange. They can do this in Design Center and also using the Anypoint CLI. Lastly, API governance can also be automated through the CI/CD processes by leveraging the Anypoint CLI to validate the APIs, publish the APIs, and also tag Mule and non-Mule APIs in Exchange. With that being said, let's jump right into the actual demonstration. For this demo, I'm going to work with two API specs. For the first spec, we'll be using the Design Center to get started and see how we can validate the API spec even before we publish into the exchange. And for the second spec, we'll be using the Anypoint CLI functionality to validate the API spec before we publish the API spec into the exchange. After we publish both the specs into exchange, I'll walk you through setting up the dashboards in API governance. Let's get started with the spec in the Design Center. Here in Design Center, we have a simple API spec, Order Process API. To get started, navigate to the Exchange dependencies and click the plus icon beside the rule sets. Select the rule set that you want to enforce on this particular API and then click Add Dependencies. Also, you can build custom rule set and can use them here by publishing them into the Exchange. Now, if you have any conformance issues, you can see them in the project errors section on the root API spec landing page. From now, you'll not be able to publish the API spec into the exchange until you resolve the conformance issues. So let's resolve the conformance issues. Here I added security schemas and also HTTPS protocol to the base URI section. Now let's try to publish the API spec into the exchange as the conformance issues are resolved. As the conformance issues are resolved, you can now publish the API spec into the exchange. By doing this, developers can validate if the API spec is conforming to the team standards in the design phase itself, thereby reducing the friction during the review cycles. Now, as the API spec is successfully published into the exchange, let's move on to publish the other API spec from the Anypoint CLI. Developers can also validate the API spec from the Anypoint CLI itself. This comes handy if the APIs are built using other technologies and you want to manage them using our new Flex Gateway. So let's validate a simple OAS spec for the HTTP enforcement rule set from the Anypoint CLI. To get started, first we need to go back to the exchange and download the HTTPS rule set. Once you download the archive, go back to the archive and unzip the archive. Next, go into the rule set and copy the file path of ruleset.yaml file. Next, go back to the CLI and the command here is governance API validate. Paste the file path of ruleset.yaml file. Next, go back and copy the file path of the API spec archive. Paste the file path of the API spec archive and run the command. If everything is in line with the conformance, you see the spec conforms with the rule set. In order to keep the video short, I skipped publishing the asset from CLI to Exchange. You can do that using the standard command exchange asset upload v2. Now let's tag the APIs, as this is required to group the APIs properly using profiles. Now go to the API Governance landing page. Hit create new profile. Provide the profile name. Profiles are used to group the APIs and enforce a set of rule sets. From the list here, select the rule set that you want to enforce. When you build a custom rule set and publish into the Exchange, you get another option here to select it. Click Next. Select the tag that you want to use for the filter criteria. You can also use category for the filter criteria. Underneath, you will be able to see all the APIs that match the filter criteria. Click Next. Here you have the options to send the notifications to recipients. You have API Publisher and API Contact. Also, you can use any group email address to send out the notifications if any of the APIs are non-conformant to the standards. Click Next. Review the settings and click Create to view the profile. This is the API Governance landing page. Here we have the aggregated metrics across all the profiles, across all the individual APIs and their non-conformance by severity. Here we also have the profiles view and the APIs view. In the profiles view, we can further drill down into each profile and see the conformance information about the APIs that match the filter condition of the profile and their individual conformance to the rule sets. In this case, the APIs in this profile are all conformance to the rule set configured in the profile. Now let's make a change to the profile to see how the dashboard looks like if the API spec is not conforming to a particular rule set. Now let's add authentication security best practices rule set to the demo profile and update the changes. If you go back to the dashboards and see, the number of profiles that are at risk has become 1, and the number of APIs that are not conformant is 1, and the conformance severity score is 1. Let's drill down to the profile to observe what APIs are not conformant and to what rule set the API specs are not conformant to. In this case, the customer demo OAS spec is not conformant to the authentication security best practices rule set. Now a notification will be triggered to all the recipients list provided in the profiles configuration. Now let's go back to the API spec and update the API spec to make the API spec conformant to the rule set. I updated customer demo OAS spec to be in conformant with the rule sets and published it to the Exchange in the backend. Now if we observe the API governance dashboard, there are no profiles that are at risk and there are no non-conformant APIs and there's no non-conformance by severity score. Now if we drill down to the demo profile and observe the customer demo OAS spec, it is now in conformance with the HTTPS enforcement rule set and also with the authentication security best practices rule set. Also, if you observe here, we can export these conformance results at the individual API level in the form of a CSV file and also at the individual profile level and also at the whole API governance level in the form of a CSV file, which can be used to share across all the key stakeholders. So with the help of these dashboards, we were able to identify APIs that are not conformant with the standards of the organization and take measures to address the concerns. So without any hesitation, now we can say that these dashboards helps to operationalize governance and reduce friction across different teams. Hope this video will help you to get started in using our new API governance functionalities. Also, please watch other videos in this series for more information.